There comes a moment in life, often after 60, when the world around us seems to fall into a gentle hush. The children are grown, their lives full and busy. The phone no longer rings with the same urgency it once did. Even the television hums less often in the background, its noise no longer a necessity, but more of a habit. The days stretch longer and quieter, the hours slow to a thoughtful rhythm, and the walls of our homes embrace a stillness we may have once longed for. And yet in the midst of this outward quiet, many find that the noise has not vanished. It has simply changed its address. It no longer lives in crowded rooms or bustling streets. It lives within. The mind, as if rebelling against the silence, begins to chatter louder than ever. It replays conversations from decades ago, questions decisions already made, and drifts constantly between memories and imagined futures. There is a persistent narrative unfolding in the background, the should-haves, the what-ifs, the if-onlys. Even as we sip tea by the window or listen to birdsong in the garden, we often realize we are not truly present. Our bodies are still, but our thoughts are restless travelers. You may recognize this quiet storm within, the endless commentary that seems to speak even when there is no one around to listen. It whispers when you try to sleep, distracts you when you seek calm, and interrupts the rare beauty of the present with reminders of what once was or fears of what might be. It can be kind, yes, but it can also be cruel. Most of all, it is constant. Some say this inner dialogue is simply part of aging, proof that the mind is still sharp, still working. But there is another way to see it. Buddhist philosophy reminds us that thinking is not the same as awareness. And having thoughts does not mean we are awake to life. If we are always caught in the swirl of our minds, we may forget what it feels like to just be, to exist in this very moment, free from comparison, judgment, or rehearsal. This is not a story about eliminating thought, for the mind will always think, just as the heart beats and the lungs breathe. Instead, it is a gentle invitation to look beyond the thinking, to step back from the voice in our heads and into something far more profound: silence. Not the silence of a quiet room, but the silence of a still mind, a spaciousness, a clarity, a peace that arises not from doing more, but from observing more gently, more consciously. In the minutes ahead, we will take this journey together, a journey into that silence, not to escape life, but to return to it. Because beneath the noise of memory, beneath the weight of worry, there is something ancient and ever-present, the moment you are living right now. And if you are willing, we will walk slowly toward it, step by step, breath by breath, until the noise softens and the peace within begins to speak. Part 1. The Inner Storm. How Overthinking Steals the Present. There's a peculiar thing that happens with age. As the years pass and the world quiets down around us, many expect peace to come naturally, as if silence from the outside will somehow hush the inside too. But more often than not, the opposite happens. The noise doesn't disappear, it simply relocates. The outer world may grow quieter, yes, but the inner world, it can become a storm. It begins subtly. Perhaps you're sitting alone in the early morning, a cup of tea warming your hands, the house still, the sky just beginning to brighten. But instead of peace, there's chatter. Your mind spins with unfinished conversations from 10 years ago, guilt from something you said or didn't say, anxieties about your health, about your children, about what lies ahead in the quiet unknown. Thoughts come like waves, one crashing into the next, with barely a moment to breathe in between. You may wonder, why does my mind talk so much? I just want a little peace. But the truth is, the mind has spent decades practicing this habit. It believes that by replaying the past or predicting the future, it's keeping you safe. And yet, ironically, it's doing the opposite. It's robbing you of the very peace it's trying to protect. In Buddhist philosophy, this restless state is known as monkey mind, a mind that leaps from branch to branch, thought to thought, never still, never quiet. As Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." But without awareness, we forget we can anchor ourselves. Instead, we're tossed around by our thoughts like dry leaves in a storm. Let me share a story, a simple one, but it stays with me. There was once an elderly woman who lived by a peaceful lake. She had retired, her children were grown, and her days were filled with time, something she always said she'd wanted. But one morning, her granddaughter asked her, "Grandma, what do you think about when you're alone?" The old woman smiled gently and replied, "Everything, child. I think about mistakes I made when I was your age. I think about the friends I've lost and the things I never did. Sometimes I even rehearse conversations with people who are no longer alive, as if I might finally say the right thing." She paused, looked out at the lake and said, "But rarely do I just look at this water and let it be enough." That story breaks my heart because it's so real. We do this, don't we? We miss the sunsets. We ignore the laughter of birds. We forget the softness of this very breath, all because the mind is elsewhere, arguing, comparing, regretting, and the present moment, that sacred sliver of life, it slips through our fingers unnoticed. The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. But to truly live in the present, we must first recognize when we're absent from it. We must gently, compassionately notice when the storm is rising within, and choose not to get swept away. This doesn't mean fighting the thoughts. It doesn't mean forcing them to stop. No, that only adds wind to the storm. Instead, imagine yourself sitting at the shore of your own mind, just watching, just witnessing. Let the waves come, let them go. You don't have to jump in, you don't have to drown. And when the thoughts quiet, even just for a breath, you might hear something else. The faint whisper of presence, the stillness underneath, the deep, wordless peace that's been waiting there all along. So as we begin this journey, let's not aim for perfection. Let's simply aim for presence. Let's notice the storm, not with fear, but with wisdom. Because every time you choose awareness over distraction, stillness over mental noise, you return home, not just to the now, but to yourself. Part 2. The Gift of Silence. Rediscovering Peace Within. Silence. It's such a simple word, just 6 letters. Yet for many of us, especially in the later chapters of life, it's one of the most misunderstood, underappreciated, and often feared companions. There's a cultural illusion that silence is empty, that it's a void to be filled with sound, conversation, distraction, or movement. After all, we've spent a lifetime being productive, being useful, being busy. So when the noise fades, when retirement arrives, when the house grows still, when no one needs us in the way they once did, silence creeps in, and many instinctively try to fill it. But what if we've been seeing silence all wrong? What if silence isn't a gap in life, but a doorway into it? You see, true silence is not about the absence of sound. It's about the presence of awareness. It's the moment when you're no longer dominated by the constant voice in your head, the one narrating, judging, planning, and remembering. When that voice softens, even for just a few seconds, something extraordinary happens. You begin to hear life itself again. There's a beautiful teaching in Zen that says, "Only when the mind is silent can the heart speak." And oh, how true that is. I remember speaking once with a man in his 70s who had just lost his wife. She had been the love of his life, his friend, his anchor, his home. In the weeks after her passing, friends kept calling, trying to comfort him with words. He appreciated it, but what he told me has stayed with me for years. He said, "You know what helped me most? Sitting on our old porch in the morning, in complete silence. No advice, no TV, just silence. And for the first time in my life, I could actually feel her presence, not just remember her. I could feel my own sadness fully, without fear. And strangely, I also felt peace. That's what silence gives us. It makes space for truth. Not the surface truths, but the deep truths, the ones we can't hear when we're distracted or hurried or caught in thought. In silence, we stop running and we begin listening, not just to the world, but to the gentle pulse of our own soul. In Buddhist meditation, silence is revered as a sacred teacher. It's not something we force, but something we return to, like a river that always waits behind the noise. When we sit quietly, without trying to fix or improve anything, we meet ourselves as we are. We come face to face with our breath, with our heartbeat, with the life flowing through us in this very moment. And in that space, healing begins. It's in silence that we reconnect with what is simple and sacred, the way sunlight warms the skin through a window, the smell of a home-cooked meal, the sound of wind rustling through trees, the presence of a loved one simply sitting beside us without needing to say a thing. Silence allows us to feel these things again, not just notice them, but truly feel them. The Buddha taught, when the mind is quiet, the world surrenders its secrets. Indeed, when the mental clutter clears, even the smallest flower can become a miracle. Even the most ordinary day can feel like a prayer. But silence doesn't come easily, especially if we've spent a lifetime avoiding it. It requires courage, the kind of quiet bravery that asks us to sit down, close our eyes and face whatever arises without judgment. Sometimes it brings memories, sometimes grief, sometimes joy. But through it all, there is a presence, steady, vast, and gentle, like the earth beneath our feet. This is the gift of silence. It doesn't ask you to change. It simply asks you to notice. It doesn't try to erase pain, but it holds it with tenderness. It doesn't promise answers, but it makes space for clarity to emerge. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by thought or unsettled by the quiet around you, try this. Instead of reaching for your phone, the remote, or another distraction, pause, breathe, let the silence come. Let it wash over you like sunlight over still water, because in that stillness, you might just rediscover the part of yourself that's been waiting patiently beneath the noise, beneath the years, to be heard again. Part 3. The illusion of control and the power of letting go. There's something we all crave, whether we speak it aloud or not. A sense of control. We want life to unfold neatly, to follow a plan, to reward our hard work and protect us from pain. And for much of our younger years, we cling to this belief as tightly as we can, mapping out futures, setting expectations and trying, with all our might, to steer the course of our lives. But then life, in its quiet and humbling way, begins to show us otherwise. A loved one gets sick. A relationship ends. A storm knocks down the tree we planted years ago. Plans change. People change. And suddenly, all our carefully drawn lines blur. It's in these moments that we come face to face with a truth we'd rather avoid. We are not in control. Not in the way we thought. This realization can be terrifying at first. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, unsure whether to step forward or cling to the rock behind us. But what if that fear is simply the mind resisting what the soul already knows? What if letting go isn't falling, but flying? Buddhism speaks often of non-attachment, and many misunderstand it as indifference or emotional coldness. But in truth, it is the path to the deepest kind of love and peace. The Buddha taught, "You only lose what you cling to," and in those few words is a lifetime's worth of wisdom. Clinging to people, to outcomes, to identity, to the past, becomes the root of suffering. Not because those things are wrong or unworthy, but because we try to make them permanent in a world that is not. There's a story I once heard from a monk in Thailand. An old man spent years carving a small Buddha statue from wood, pouring his love into every detail. When it was finally finished, he placed it on a shelf in his home. Every day he would sit before it, pray, and admire its beauty. But one day, during a strong storm, the roof leaked, and the statue, now softened by water, cracked and split. The man was heartbroken. He wept for hours, asking why life would take away what he had poured so much of his heart into. Later that week, the monk came to visit. Seeing the man's pain, he said gently, "The statue was not taken from you, it was teaching you. You see, you did not love the wood or the carving. You loved your idea of it, lasting forever. And now that it has returned to the earth, you are invited to do the same. Return, release, be free." That story has stayed with me because it speaks to something so tender. We love deeply, and that's beautiful. But sometimes in our love, we begin to grasp. We try to hold too tightly to moments, to people, to identities that were never meant to stay unchanged. We forget that everything, even beauty, even joy, has its own rhythm, its own time to arrive and time to go. Letting go is not giving up. It's not the same as weakness. In fact, it's the opposite. Letting go requires great courage, the kind of bravery that trusts in life's flow, even when we don't understand where it's going. The Buddha once said, "When you let go of who you are, you become who you might be." And what a liberating thought that is. When we stop trying to control everything, the outcome of every conversation, the direction of our children's lives, the opinions others have of us, we make space. Space for presence, space for peace, space for life to breathe through us, rather than being suffocated by our resistance. You may be wondering, but how do I let go when it hurts? When I've held something for so long, it feels like part of me. And the answer, dear friend, is softly and slowly. Letting go is not a door we fling open in one bold motion. It's a window we ease open, inch by inch, as we learn to trust the breeze. Start with this. The next time something doesn't go according to plan, instead of tightening your grip, pause, breathe. Notice the urge to control and gently release it. Whisper to yourself, "This too is part of the path," because here's the beautiful truth. Life has a rhythm far wiser than our plans, and when we surrender to it, not passively, but consciously, we begin to move with the current instead of fighting against it. And in that movement, we find a peace that no plan, no possession, no perfect outcome could ever give. So let go, not of love, not of care, but of the illusion that you must hold it all together. You were never meant to. You were meant to flow. Part 4. Entering the present moment. The only place life exists. There's a quiet irony in how we live. We long for peace, but we chase it through planning. We want happiness, but we postpone it until the perfect moment arrives. And in doing so, we drift endlessly between the regrets of yesterday and the worries of tomorrow, while the only place life ever truly exists silently waits for us to notice it. The present moment. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Be here now. But for many of us, especially in the later stages of life, this is one of the most elusive teachings. We've been conditioned to look ahead, to prepare, to plan, to make things better, or to look behind, replaying old memories like worn-out tapes we can't quite put down. The habit of being somewhere else becomes so ingrained that even when everything around us is still, a quiet morning, a warm afternoon, the soft ticking of the clock, the mind refuses to settle. And yet, this moment, right here, right now, is the only place where anything real is happening. The Buddha taught, the past is already gone, the future is not yet here. There's only one moment for you to live, and that is the present moment. It's a teaching that can't be understood merely by thinking. It must be felt, embodied, returned to again and again, like a gentle homecoming. I once met a man who had recently turned 70. He told me that he used to rush through life with a checklist: retirement goals, home repairs, medical appointments, even social events, until one day he had a minor heart scare that landed him in the hospital. He said it wasn't the pain that shook him, but the stillness. As he lay in that sterile room, he realized he had been alive for over 7 decades, but had truly lived for maybe just a handful of moments. That admission made my chest tighten, because isn't it true? Sometimes we don't recognize the present moment's sacredness until we're forced to stop. But we don't have to wait for a crisis. We can start right now, with this breath, this feeling in your chest, the softness of this exact moment. Think of your mind like a snow globe. When shaken, thoughts swirling, emotions churning, everything becomes a blur. But if you simply set it down and wait, the flakes begin to settle. The scene inside becomes clear. And the same is true with your awareness. The more you rest in the moment, the clearer life becomes. What once felt tangled and overwhelming begins to untie itself, not because the world changed, but because you did. Being in the present doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or forgetting the past. It means not letting those things steal your presence. It means that when you drink your tea, you actually taste it. When you speak with someone, you hear them, not just their words. And when you look at the sky, you see its color, not just the weather forecast. There's a powerful story in Zen tradition about a student who asked his master, "What is enlightenment?" The master simply replied, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." It sounds absurdly simple, but that's the point. The depth of life is found not in exotic experiences or complex philosophies, but in the fullness of ordinary moments, when we are actually there for them. So the question is, how do we return to the present, especially when the mind pulls us away? We begin by noticing. We notice the breath, in and out. We feel the ground beneath our feet, the rhythm of the body. We listen not just to sounds but to the space between them. And every time the mind drifts, as it will, we gently call it back, like guiding a child home. And in time something remarkable happens. We begin to see again. The way the afternoon light dances across the floor, the delicate texture of our own skin, the quiet presence of being alive. And in that seeing, in that simple awareness, we find peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because we are finally here. So dear friend, if the world ever feels too heavy, if your thoughts are racing too fast, return to this one small truth. This moment is enough. This breath, this feeling, this heartbeat. There is no need to fix, to analyze, or to rush. Just be. And in that being, life will meet you. Part 5. Simple practices to quiet the mind. After 60, peace, they say, isn't something we find. It's something we return to, something we uncover, like sunlight behind the clouds. And the path back to that peace, especially after 60, doesn't require a monastery in the mountains or years of intensive meditation. It begins in the simplest of places: your breath, your attention, your willingness to be still, even just for a moment. Many people believe that a quiet mind is something only monks can achieve. But the truth is, you don't need to be a monk to find stillness. You just need to become, as the Buddha gently reminded us, mindful in each step. And the first step is always the same: awareness. Let me share 3 simple but profound practices that have helped thousands find calm, even in the midst of inner storms. You can do them at home, in your chair by the window, in your garden, or even lying in bed before sleep. These aren't complex techniques. They are invitations to return, softly, kindly, to yourself. Practice 1. Sacred listening, reawakening the world around you. Choose a quiet place, perhaps your porch in the early morning, or by a window at dusk. Sit comfortably and close your eyes if it feels right. Now, instead of thinking about the world, listen to it, not with the intention to judge or name, but simply to receive. The distant hum of a car, the rustle of leaves, the creaking of the house as it settles, maybe even the quiet beat of your own heart. In Buddhist teaching, this is called bare attention, the act of observing without labeling. When we drop the need to analyze what we hear, a quiet miracle unfolds. The world becomes music, not dramatic, not loud, but gentle, intimate, true. And in listening without resistance, your thoughts too begin to slow, not because you forced them to stop, but because you finally gave them permission to rest. Try this for 5 minutes a day. You'll be amazed at how deeply connected and grounded you begin to feel. Practice 2. The breath as an anchor, a return to simplicity. Your breath is your oldest companion. From the moment you entered this world, it has been with you, steady and faithful. Yet how often do we notice it? How often do we lean into it when the mind is noisy? Sit comfortably and place one hand over your heart or belly. Close your eyes. Begin by simply watching the breath as it comes and goes. Don't control it. Don't change it. Just follow it like a curious friend. Then begin to slow it down. Inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. As the breath lengthens, you may notice your shoulders drop, your chest soften, your thoughts loosen their grip. This is not just a relaxation trick. It's a sacred return. As the Buddha said, breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Even 5 slow breaths can change your state of mind. Imagine what 5 minutes might do. Practice 3. Thought labeling, observing without attachment. One of the greatest causes of mental fatigue is that we believe our thoughts are true. We hear a voice say, "You failed," or "This will never get better," and we accept it like gospel. But thoughts are not facts. They are clouds in the sky, temporary, passing, ever-changing. This practice teaches you to notice thoughts without being caught by them. Sit quietly and allow your mind to wander. Yes, let it. And when a thought arises, simply label it gently, like this. Ah, that's worry. That's a memory. That's planning. That's judgment. By naming the thought, you create a bit of space between you and the thought. You shift from being in it to being the observer of it. And in that space, peace can arise. This is mindfulness in action. The moment you stop believing everything your mind tells you, and instead, you begin to witness, as if to say, I see you, you may pass. These 3 practices may seem small, but like drops of water, they carve rivers through stone over time. The goal is not perfection, it is presence. The aim is not to empty the mind, but to soften its grip, to make space for something deeper, quieter, more true. So begin gently. Choose one. Try it today for just a few minutes. And if your thoughts interrupt you, smile. That's okay. Come back again and again. That returning is the practice, because the mind, like a tired dog, may bark and run in circles. But if you stay still and open your heart, eventually it comes and rests by your side. Part 6. A shift in perspective. You are not the thought. You are the awareness. What if you were never meant to control your thoughts, but simply to witness them? What if you are not the storm in your mind, but the sky beneath it, vast and untouched? There's a quiet revolution that happens in the heart the moment we stop identifying with our thoughts and start identifying as the awareness that sees them. It's not just a spiritual idea, it's a shift in how you experience every moment of your life. And for those of us in the later chapters of our journey, it may just be the most liberating insight of all. You see, most of us live as if we are our minds. When a thought arises, "I'm not good enough. It's too late now. They never appreciated me." We accept it, no questions asked. We wear it like a heavy coat, even when it suffocates us. And with enough time, we no longer see the difference between the voice in our head and the truth of who we are. But Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle yet profound awakening. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. The Buddha described the mind as a wild elephant, powerful but untamed. If we believe every thought it throws at us, we are trampled. But if we learn to stand still, to watch without reacting, the elephant begins to calm, and with time, it walks beside us, instead of dragging us. Let me share a story from a teacher I deeply admire. An old monk once sat in meditation beside a river. A young man approached him, anxious and frustrated, and asked, "Master, how do I stop these endless thoughts? They come like waves, one after another, and I feel like I'm drowning in them." The monk smiled and pointed to the river. "Do you see the water flowing?" The young man nodded. "Are you in it?" "No," the young man said. "I'm watching it." The monk replied softly, "Do the same with your mind." That's it. That's the shift. No longer drowning in the current, but standing on the riverbank, observing it. No longer tangled in every fear, every judgment, every memory, but holding space for them to pass. When you begin to relate to your thoughts this way, something truly miraculous begins to happen. You stop taking them so personally. You realize that just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it deserves your energy. It's simply a thought, like a bird passing through the sky, there for a moment, then gone. In that clarity, you begin to remember who you really are. You are the awareness that notices the thought. You are the stillness behind the noise. You are the quiet witness, the vast sky, the open field. And in this space of awareness, there is peace. Not because life becomes perfect, but because you no longer need it to be. You are no longer trying to fix every emotion, to judge every experience, or to fight every shadow. Instead, you simply see. This perspective changes everything. Your relationship with pain, with aging, with loss, with uncertainty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of feeling like a victim to your emotions, you become the compassionate observer. Instead of reacting, you respond, gently, wisely, with grace. And here's something beautiful. The more you rest in awareness, the more compassion naturally flows from you. Because once you see your own suffering clearly, you begin to recognize it in others, and you no longer wish to add to it. You become a softer presence in the world, a steadier one, a source of peace for others, simply by being at peace with yourself. So if today your thoughts feel heavy, if the mind is loud and restless, come back to this truth. You are not the thought, you are the awareness. And in that awareness, there is space for everything. The joy, the sorrow, the memories, the letting go. You are the sky, dear friend. The thoughts are just the weather. Conclusion: returning to the silence within. As we come to the end of this quiet journey together, perhaps you're beginning to sense what was always waiting beneath the surface, a stillness that is not distant or rare but familiar. It's been with you all along. It only needed you to slow down and remember. Today we explored the storm within, the endless noise of thought, memory and worry, and how that inner chatter robs us of the most sacred thing we have, the present moment. We reflected on silence, not as an emptiness to be feared, but as a homecoming, a gentle return to the breath, to awareness, to life as it actually unfolds. We touched on the illusion of control and how the deepest peace often arises not from holding on, but from letting go, of plans, of expectations, of the idea that life must go a certain way to be meaningful. We learned how to step into the now, not by force, but by presence, because life doesn't exist in the past we've already lived, nor in the future we're still imagining. It exists here, in the warmth of sunlight on your hands, in the sound of your own breath, in the quiet knowing that you are still alive. And that alone is a miracle. And we practiced returning, again and again, through small but powerful actions, listening, breathing, noticing thoughts without becoming them. We reminded ourselves that we are not the noise, but the awareness behind it, not the passing cloud, but the open sky. So now, dear friend, I offer you a gentle question. What would your life feel like if you no longer believed every thought that crossed your mind? What kind of peace might arise if you stopped trying to fix everything and simply allowed this moment to be enough? You don't need to answer right away. Let the question live in you. Let it ripple softly, like wind across a quiet lake. Because perhaps that's what this whole journey is about. Not finding all the answers, but learning to listen deeply, silently, to the wisdom that was already inside you. Remember, peace is not somewhere you arrive. It is something you uncover. And every breath, every mindful step, every quiet pause is a step closer to it. If this message touched something in your heart, I invite you to stay with us here at Quiet Wisdom. This space is for you, for those who walk gently, think deeply, and are learning to let go, one breath at a time. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who may need its softness, and leave us a comment. What does silence mean to you now? Until next time, may you be peaceful. May you be present, and may you always remember, you are not the storm, you are the sky.